Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Disc Golf Preview Show for the United States Disc Golf Championships. We are here on the grounds at Winthrop. Super excited. I'm your host, Hunter, joined as always by Trevor. Pretty exciting to be down here this year, Trevor.
Yeah, it's always exciting to be on this property. It's really cool to be able to do the show on site today. Beautiful day already. Everything is kind of in the calm before the storm right now. You got all the vending tents set up. Players are practicing. Saw Ricky park hole 6 behind us twice in a row, looking absolutely dangerous. So it's cool to be here again.
It's a very cool environment. Reminder, if you're going to be down here, don't forget to check out. We're going to be doing these preview shows every day, live if you're down here on the stage, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're down here, again, be sure to tune in. If not, just check out the YouTube channel. Should be posted around 12 or 1 every day. But Winthrop Gold, Winthrop Arena, the course here, not too many changes that we're looking at. You know, historically, this course has been known for drastic changes every year.
Yeah.
This year, just a few subtle changes. We saw this last year, but alt pins again will be in play, with A pins playing about 100 feet longer. They'll be in play days 1 and 4. B pins will be 2 and 3. And then the hazard, first change, hazard on hole 3, OB this year.
Yeah.
Gonna make things slightly more difficult, but realistically not too bad, all in all, I feel like. Another thing that I noticed, according to the caddy book, hole 9, it looks like they beefed up the rocks in front of the green. I don't know if that's true or not. The caddy book just looks a lot different there. Hole 7, the tee pads elevated a few feet. Again, I don't think that's really going to change how it plays too much. And then there's a new B pin on hole 13 that is in the typical landing zone for the old par 5 location across the parking lot, but the rest of the course seems pretty identical.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, if you're a viewer at home, you probably won't notice any of the changes, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, it is a little surprising. And we heard, every year we hear rumors, usually at least some of them are true. This year, yeah, no major changes. And this course typically likes to get pretty experimental. They kind of pride themselves on pushing disc golf innovation here a little bit, and that's where we see some things we don't love, like the mozzarella sticks, but you know, we've come to accept that they're here.
Yeah.
I will say they bother me less now than they used to. I'm still not sold on the artificial Christmas trees, but yeah, nothing super different this year. I am surprised. I guess they finally decided that last year's layout just made sense. There was no need to make a change. We heard, rumors that they might even change the finishing stretch to try and set up a better hole 18 for viewers. But yeah, nothing to latch onto this year, so it'll be easy to follow.
Definitely. Now let's get into some storylines here. This is the last major of the year and the last chance for two main players to break some droughts that they're on. The first of these two being Ricky Wysocki. Obviously, he's on a major drought since 2017. And an interesting stat that I learned when I was looking this up, he has not finished outside of the top 10 since 2014 was the last time he finished outside the top 10. So 2015 on, he didn't play in 2019, but 2015 on, he's been inside the top 10. Why has this major continued to slip out of Ricky's grasp for all these years?
Yeah, I don't know. And, even though he has all those top 10s, if you think about recent years now, there was a few where he was trying to chase people down. You think about the Jeremy Colling one where the storm came in as one in particular that maybe he could have won. But he's a strong, well-rounded player with a good forehand, which always does well here, and he's always consistent. And you play this course enough times, it is one of those courses where if you play it enough times and you learn it, you have such a huge advantage already because a lot of the staple holes here don't change from year to year at all. Hole 6 right behind us is a great example. I mean, I don't even remember the last time they changed hole 6 to any extent. So that gives you a huge advantage. You're familiar with the way everything plays. You're also, the stage. You're familiar with playing in front of the crowd. So I think that's why Ricky's able to hang around. Even though he's been in that top 10 so many years in a row, he's not like he's been fighting for the win every single year, which is easier said than done at this event over 4 rounds. It's tough to stay in the mix. But, it is certainly one of those events where it wouldn't shock me if he were able to break out and get that major win.
Yeah, I think he's got all the shots necessary out here. And like you said, the history out here, he just knows this course so well. Also, to be mentioned, he grew up, his hometown is only about 15, 20 minutes down the road in Fort Mill, South Carolina. So this is a little bit of like a hometown tournament. Yeah. As weird as it sounds to say, typically his whole family's out here. I know he's had his brother on the bag in years past and stuff like that. Yeah. There's something to be said for that, like, good vibes in the air when you roll back into a tournament like this.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know what exactly. You can't put your finger on one particular thing that has kept him from getting over and turning into a U.S. champion. But he has the game. I think it's really going to require his putt to be on, because out here, a lot of players are going to be in positions to birdie on different holes, but it's a lot of times that circle 2 look. And I think if you can get that circle 2 look going, which Ricky can, that is typically when we see those really hot rounds from him. I think it's going to be something that has to keep going all 4 rounds. The other player we have to look at here is Calvin Heimburg. He's the name on everyone's mind realistically coming into this weekend, his last shot at getting his first major title this year. He's had a lot more up and down history out here than Rick, but he has a few podiums, including last year, that prove he can compete out here. What has to click in order for him to take it down this weekend?
Well, it's his putting for sure, and in particular his putting if he's able to get in contention, because I think everybody expects that Calvin will be consistent enough, and he's such a prolific thrower, which out here will get you in contention to where if he can putt down the stretch, he can win this tournament for sure. But that's just it. At the beginning of this event, the first 3, maybe even the first, all the holes up until the last, 5 or 6, this event, a lot of it is about minimizing damage, keeping the disc in play, and playing smart. But when you come down the stretch, this event turns into who can just make the biggest, clutchest putts. We've seen it year after year now that if you are going to either storm back and win or hold on to a lead, you have to make crazy putts down the stretch. It's been happening every single year. We saw it on Gannon on 17 last year. We saw it on Paul on 17 the year before, and numerous putts before that one. That's what it's going to come down to. And so we're going to need a Calvin Heimburg who can step up to a 40-footer with pressure and make it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see a little bit of the Calvin of old. Because you can, realistically, especially early in the tournament, you can sacrifice a stroke or 2 on the putting green if you're a thrower of Calvin's ability, because it is a thrower's course when it's all said and done. But like you said, it does really come down to down the stretch, you got to be able to make some very clutch putts, some very big putts. There's going to be putts from hazard to save par from like 40-some feet. And what we've seen him recently struggling with, which is sometimes those 15, 20-footers get in his head. You can't have that down the stretch. Because in those last few rounds, obviously every stroke matters all tournament, but that's when it really feels that you have the pressure on those putts. And I feel like that's where recently we've seen him slip a little bit. So it'll be very interesting to see. He has, just like Ricky, the entire game. It's just, can he get hot and stay hot for all 4 rounds? I think that's going to be crucial for his putting. He's got to get his putter going early in these first few rounds so that it can stay hot, versus it start cold and he's still in contention. Now he's trying to get it going in rounds 3 or 4. The player on UDisc's mind, according to their win percentage, is Eagle McMahon. He's the leader coming in here. He has a top 10 streak of his own dating back to 2018. He's been in contention multiple times out here, but tends to fall back by the end. What are your feelings about Eagle this weekend?
I think that Eagle can overcome a lot of his struggles on this course just with his pure throwing ability. Now this will be a year where maybe his forehand isn't quite what it used to be, but it's plenty capable at this point. And he's just an excellent thrower of the disc. What Eagle's key is he's got to string together 4 rounds at a mentally demanding course. And I would not say by any means that Eagle is a player that struggles with the mental game, but you have to just be airtight at this course. And I think it's, in the past we've seen him, maybe that 3rd round see a slip up and then try to claw back in the 4th, or maybe even the final round having that struggle. So I think for him that's what it's going to come down to, is can he afford to take a 2nd or 3rd round slip up and minimize the damage and fight back, because you're realistically just not going to string together 4 perfect rounds out here. It just isn't going to happen.
No. Eagle, though, his putt can get streaky at times. If this is a week that it's streaking in his favor, I really like him out
Pretty
here.
Good wind putter, too. And,
he is.
And it typically is a little breezy out here.
The wind doesn't look like it's going to be too bad this weekend. It's going to get progressively colder.
Certain holes is where it's more noticeable.
Yeah, slight chance of rain on Saturday, but nothing too bad, and the wind looks like it's supposed to be relatively calm. But like you were saying, the throwing-wise, Eagle does have his forehand back more so than it has been. It's been slowly getting back, and he's on an absolute tear to end the season. He's getting hot at the right time for it to all kind of come together here. Because if you remember a few years ago, he realistically should have won this thing. And I think that he can put the pieces together. He's a proven major winner, obviously the 2018 Kona Piste Open. And then in case, some people used to say that was kind of a fake major, not really a major. He just won the 2022 European Open. That's an established major. That's the real deal. And he did that only throwing a backhand. So he's dangerous. He's definitely a player to keep your eyes on. And I'm going to be honest with you, he's definitely one of my favorites out here. I think he's should be on everyone's top 3, in my opinion. The other player that's the big storyline of this year, especially when it comes to majors, Isaac Robinson. He's already has 2 majors under his belt this season and has improved his finishing place every year he's played out here, which if that trend continues, then he's looking at a top 5 this year because he finished in 6th last year. Is it actually possible for him to win 3 majors this year.
Oh, yeah. I think it's more than possible. I think that, experience may have been holding him back in years prior, but there's nothing scarier than a player going into a big-time event when they've already accomplished everything they ever wanted in a season because that guy just doesn't feel pressure. And we already know that Isaac is – if there's anybody at this tournament that can throw together 4 rounds that look almost unscathed, it's Isaac Robinson. He is definitely terrifying. I think if players see Isaac Robinson come out hot in the first round, you should probably be really scared because he is a guy that can just duplicate them one after another when he gets momentum going. We've seen him do it now twice. A very hard player to catch when he gets the lead, and there's no reason that he shouldn't be very effective at this course if he's putting well. I think that there is every reason that Isaac Robinson can win a 3rd major this year, which would be just a crazy situation to think that in a year that Kristen won 4, we almost had an MPO guy do the same.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this course, Isaac Robinson, all year I've been saying, his game reminds me of when Chris Dickerson was at his peak a few years ago. His game is very much just angle control, backhands, not making dumb mistakes, and then hitting every putt like a robot. If he does that out here, that puts him into a great position for a win, but similar to Kristen Tatar at U.S. Women's, he's got a chance to do something special here, so it's almost like he's playing for more than just a major title. Because realistically, in my opinion, if you pick up 3 majors in a year, it's pretty close to closing the book on Player of the Year.
Yeah,
Calvin's doing some crazy things. Gannon's got a lot of wins, but 3 major wins in a season, that is a very solid argument. I would say airtight in my opinion, but a very solid argument in everyone's eyes for Player of the Year. Yeah. So this major's worth a lot to Isaac Robinson, and it could really – he already has a very good season in the history books. This could elevate it to that greatness level in the history books. It seems like he doesn't really feel pressure, so I don't know how much of that, if any, is kind of on his radar. But with his angle control, especially his mids, this course, it feels like a driver's course. A lot of times it's distance mids that you have control landing. Yeah. I feel like that plays right into Isaac Robinson's wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. If his putter gets hot, like you said, if he comes out round 1, he could go wire to wire out here.
Absolutely.
It would not surprise me. So definitely keep an eye on him. What are some other players that you have your eyes on coming into this week?
Well, I think a lot of people, maybe since he's cooled off a little bit, but a lot of people are probably forgetting Gannon Burr did win this event last year, and he is still very formidable this season. I think that he's a player that we should certainly keep our eyes on. As far as the rest of the field, I think there are some young guns like Colbert Allen that are always interesting to keep looks on. A player that I actually do like quite a bit here is Matty O. I think Matty O, riding the momentum off that first win, a player who has historically been successful at this event, has played it a ton of times.
That he has.
And another guy who can keep the disc in play and can kind of just stay around is Matty O, and we know he's a proven winner now on the biggest stage. So those are a couple guys that are on my radar for sure. I would always say you got to be looking for some of the sneakier players as well, some of the more experienced guy. Paul Ulebar is a guy who's been having an insane second half of the season, another really experienced player. Wouldn't shock me to see him in this thing after 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah. A player who typically plays good out here is Chris Clemens.
Yeah.
He tends to
also can't forget about Chris Dickerson. Right?
Chris Dickerson too.
Yeah.
But the 2 that I wrote down first is Nicholas Antela. He's only played this event once, being last year, came
almost
in second.
Probably should have.
He's also had several solid finishes this year, picked up a few decent wins. So I definitely think he's a player to keep your eye on. Another player that plays this event very well and has almost won it, taking Paul McBeth to a playoff a few years ago, Kyle Klein.
Yeah.
I think he's another player that could really put some stuff together out here. So Corey Ellis, another major champion that I think his game could suit well. There's a lot of players. USDGC week, what makes it so exciting is we've seen so many breakout players. This was a big event for Kevin Jones back in the day. I think it was back 2018. He came in 3rd, or maybe it was somewhere in that range. He came in 3rd. And he was a player that kind of started to make a name for himself out here. It's a course that just kind of suits itself where if you're playing solid and you're putting the disc in play and you're making your putts, at the skill level everyone at this event is at, you can be in contention here. So, very exciting week ahead. Let's jump over to Throw Pink Women's. Throw Pink Women's is going on at the same time as this. Not a major, but it feels like a major. It's got all the pressure, got all the fans, has the environment out here. Justin Ates here. Doesn't feel like one. Last year we had Katrina Allen taking it down. Yep. None other than Kristen Tatar coming in second. Kat's been struggling a little bit down the stretch. I don't really want to talk too much about Kristen because I feel like that's all we talk about every week on this show. Let's just park for Kat for 1 second. This could change your whole season with a good performance here. Are you expecting it, or will it still take you by surprise?
No, I don't. it'd be one thing if if she was having a slow back half of the season, and then I would feel really confident that this could be a good breakout event to kind of right the wrongs. But the end of the season has not been slow; it's been a collapse. It's been more than just bad play. There's just a severe lack of confidence. I would not expect, I hate to say it, but it really could be a disastrous event because we've already seen some bad finishing places from her as of recent, and this is a very punishing course. I don't expect much.
I don't expect much, but I would be excited if something did happen because it would
be a great story.
Historically, it suits her game very well, but like you said, it has been very uncharacteristically bad into the season to where you can't expect something to turn around here. Kristen's other competition from last year, though, haven't gone anywhere this year. Let's get into Henna Blomroos first. She was just in contention with Kristen at U.S. Women's. She played well, one stroke behind Kristen last year. What are her chances this week?
Slim, and Henna will throw the disc really well, and that's always going to be her advantage out here. But the putt, it's one thing to be able to throw better than a lot of the field and just hang around with the putt. And, if she can just, 60, 65% C1X, just hang in there, maybe something can work out. But there's just been a little too much sabotage. We've seen 3 putts inside of 20 feet. Like, if those putts show up any point in this tournament, she cannot win. She's going to have to try and just hold the putting together for long enough. But you never can feel too confident when you're just not putting well at all.
What I will say about this course is more than others on tour, I feel like it does allow her strokes gained on the field with her fairway hit percentage and C1X driving percentage to allow her some room for the putting to sneak in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like maybe a missed putt or two around.
Right,
we're not talking about like if she has some of those collapses like we have seen historically, she's not going to be able to do it. I think she can throw her way out of it to get into contention, but it's going to require that putting for her to get over that hump to win.
Yeah.
Because as much as we want to say it, everything that is good about Henna's game is good about Kristen's game, and Kristen's got the putt.
I mean, Kristen,
so that's a tough one.
Kristen got close last year, and I watched a good bit of her game, and she was playing bad, realistically. She was playing bad last year.
Yeah, she was not playing solid.
I haven't seen that kind of streakiness in her game nearly as much this year. There's no reason she shouldn't win by a large margin.
Now, last year we saw Missy Gannon have a solid performance. She also won this event back in 2021. What is she going to have to do to get herself in contention?
Missy, I do think probably has the best chance. This is kind of like how I always explain Missy's odds at winning, which is she needs to play her best game and then hope Kristen leaves the door open, essentially. I do think she can have success out here. She's been putting pretty well back half of the season. If she can keep it in play, I think she can attack this course in a similar way to how Kristen will. Neither throw the disc super, super far, but a lot of it's going to come down to upshots too. Something that Kristen's pretty good at. Struggled with a lot last year here. I saw some in particular that were not good at all. But if she plays really well and applies pressure, anything can happen. Like you said, she's won this event before. She knows how to.
Yeah, I think for most of these players we're talking about, this is such a throwers event that most of the players we're talking about are throwers of the disc. Really comes down to that approach and putting game, which at times can be what they struggle with. Missy, if she puts it all together, can definitely get herself into contention. The final player I want to talk about, Haley King. When you think about this course, you know Haley's got the forehand, she's got the backhand. When the putt's on, she's got that. She's proven that she can take them down, take Kristen down, take down big events. What are you going to have to see out of Haley? We saw some inconsistencies last week. What is she going to have to fix out here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess she just needs to kind of adopt the mindset she had at MVP and play really smart golf. It's really tough to, everybody all the players know this is a course management course, right?
Yeah.
Like they all know that that's how you have to do it, but easier said than done when you cough up a few strokes and you get an aggressive opportunity in front of you and you have to turn it down early in the tournament. So that's how you can kind of get caught up in everything and get caught behind the lead really quickly. So it takes the slow and steady game. There's a reason we saw Nate Sexton win this event the way he did, won by 5, because slow and steady does win the race a lot of times. It's not like somebody rushes out to the lead and just hangs on forever. You have to just kind of chip away each day, put out something that you can live with and stay in it, and then deliver on the final day. And so Haley's just going to have to stay patient, basically.
I fully agree. I think this is a course where it takes that mindset of I'm going to play my game. I'm going to stick to my game plan. I'm going to let other players mess up and capitalize when they do. And the key out here for all of them, really all players in the event, you're going to mess up. There's going to be big numbers.
Yeah.
There's going to be OB strokes. What it is recovering from those and then not letting it snowball into multiple holes in a row, because that's where you see players immediately fall out of the event. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one to watch. Let's get into some predictions. Point standings. Reminder, this is a major, so this is worth twice the amount of points for our predictions. I'm in the lead now after U.S. Women's at 126. Trevor has 125. So we're neck and neck. This will basically decide it. But let's first get into bold predictions presented by Third Wave Coffee. Third Wave Coffee is committed to ethical and sustainable sourcing for all of their coffee and have 20 single-origin coffees from all over the world in stock right now. Plus, they released this year the Bogey Bros blend that would actually taste tested and approved by myself, Trevor, and Connor, and is perfect for all of you looking to dip your toes in that specialty coffee scene. For our listeners, they're offering 20% off your order with code DISCGOLF, one word DISCGOLF. So head over to third-wave.coffee and pick something up today. Trevor, what's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction is that for the first time since Sexton in 2017, I kind of alluded to this, I believe that the winner I chose is going to win by 5 or more strokes.
Wow. So you think someone's running away with it?
Hasn't happened since 2017, yep.
My bold prediction's a little bit different. Some might say bolder or less bold. Probably less bold. Actually, definitely less bold. I think hole 10's getting ace this year.
That would be insane.
It's doable.
Yeah.
Hole 10's a par 4.
Who's going to ace it? Just throw a name out.
Anthony Barella.
Okay.
Skip shot.
Skip shot?
Yeah, not intentional. It's just going to flare skip up and in.
It's pretty hard to get a distance
skip. It is. He's going to do it, though.
Because it's like crashing.
You don't ask me.
Okay.
I didn't do it.
Maybe it'll skip off of the pavers, like the
You're asking me to predict too much now. This is
No, I want the exact
my bold prediction is just someone aces hole 10.
Okay.
My super bold prediction is AB does it with a
super
big flare.
I got you. Okay.
All right. MPO top 3. I'll give mine first.
I'm scared.
I'm going to start with third and go up.
This is the hardest thing ever.
Third place, Calvin Heimburg. I got to have him in there. I think he's going to be in the mix. He could win this weekend, but I'm not most confident in him winning this weekend, so I have him in third. Second place, this guy has shown consistency since 2015, none other than Ricky Wysocki. I really like his chances out here this year, but I don't like him as much as Eagle McMahon. I really think this is Eagle's year to take this thing down. I feel good about his game. He's getting hot at the right time, and I think he's going to put it all together.
Yeah, this is a really difficult one for me to decide. I wanted to go with Eagle, but I just don't know that he can win this tournament. My third place is Ricky Wysocki. My second is Calvin Heimburg, so we just kind of flip-flop those. I do think those are kind of they have to finish somewhere near the top 3.
Yes.
I'm picking Isaac Robinson.
You are going for it.
I just have this feeling that if he gets out to a lead, it could be like some other majors we've seen this year.
I'm not going to lie to you. I really want to see it.
He's just a scary one to not pick. Like he's the most interchangeable in that list by far. But, man, if he gets out to a good start, it's just tough to beat him at a major right now.
I just want to see the angle control he displayed at W.R. Jackson in particular. I want to see in person. So I'm hoping that he does get in the mix. And regardless, I want to watch him this weekend. But I want to see an Isaac Robinson whose game is clicking on all cylinders. And you're right. If that happens, he will walk away with the win. What's your FPO top 3?
FPO, so I've got Missy Gannon in third, Owen Scoggins in second, and then Kristen Tatar winning it.
I snubbed Owen Scoggins intentionally.
You did.
I don't think that she has enough distance to compete out here. She obviously has the consistency. She has the putt, but I do think this is a course that requires some distance, and I think she's going to struggle, especially still dealing with that injury. I think if she's trying to push it, who knows what happens there. So I'm going Henna Blomroos in third, Missy Gannon in second, Kristen Tatar taking it down.
Okay.
All right, last but not least, the dark horse. This is probably the most crucial one.
Yes.
I picked this guy early because I knew you were going to take him if I didn't.
Yeah, I was. I'm sure I was.
None other than Paul Ulibarri. He has really picked it up this latter half of the season. He's got himself into the Tour Championship from, I believe it was like 89th.
It's been pretty insane.
He's played out here a ton. This course doesn't necessarily suit his game perfectly well, but he's able to manage the course. He knows where to attack it, where not to attack it. And I was looking at his finishes recently. For a dark horse pick, they are very, very good. So I really like him out here.
I'm taking a guy who's trending up a lot this season, somebody who's been able to fight his way back into events at times, which for dark horse pick can be crucial, and that's Gavin Babcock.
Oh, I like him out here too. When the way you were talking about it, I thought you were going to go Brody Smith for a second.
I would be lying if the thought didn't cross my mind.
The thought crossed my mind too. This is one of those events that I've always said it wouldn't shock me if Brody did good out here.
It's because it's a lot of golf.
It's a lot of golf. It's a lot of strategy. And Brody does have that sneaky ability to get way out of it.
Never forget 2020.
Blow up a little bit and then find a way back in.
2021, he was like 5 under through 7. It was magical.
What a moment that was.
All right, well, gonna win it all.
Be sure to tune in to the United States Disc Golf Championship on Disc Golf Network all week long. If you're on the ground, stop by the foundation booth, say hi. Also, be sure to come by the stage 9 a.m. each and every morning that the tournament's going on to hear the preview show going down live, recording live. Or if you're sitting at home and you want the breakdown of the previous day and a look ahead for MPO of the upcoming day, tune into that show. It'll be posted, like I said, around 12 o'clock, a few hours before lead card goes off each and every day. And then we'll recap the entire tournament on Monday's Grip Locked episode.